For weeks now, Paris's main landmarks have been quiet, silenced by a virus that's wreaked havoc across France. Since March the 17th, people ordered to stay home. Lockdown rules further tightened at the beginning of April, when all outdoor activities in Paris were banned. But still, the number of deaths from coronavirus continued to rise. Healthcare workers on the front line among the dead.
Tonight, our country has reached a symbolic and particularly painful milestone, with more than 20,000 deaths.
As the growing need for food banks has shown, the lockdown has also highlighted France's inequalities. In mid-April, civil unrest broke out in Paris's northern suburbs over claims that police were using heavy-handed tactics against minorities. The economy has also been hit hard by the lockdown. France is officially in recession, with its biggest contraction since the end of the Second World War. With pressure mounting, it's no wonder politicians have been so desperate to begin opening up the country once again.
Never in the history of our country have we seen this situation. Not even during the war, not during the occupation, not during previous epidemics. Never. Never has the country been confined as it is today.
France's President Emmanuel Macron is the latest world leader hoping to save his country without costing more lives.
For more, let's bring in DW's Lisa Lewis standing by for us in Paris. Good morning to you, Lisa. A breath of fresh air this morning in Paris, but not all the country's opening the same way. Some areas are being classified as red zones. What's happening in those areas?
Yes, absolutely. The overseas territory, Mayotte, for example, there, the restrictions are not being lifted yet. In other areas, in eastern France and here in the Paris region, that means that public parks and schools will not open for now. And here in Paris, during rush hour, public transport is more restricted, so you will still need a document saying that you need to take public transport during 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, early evening, to show that you need to take it and actually, for example, to go to work, because the public transport companies here want to limit the amount of the passenger amount to 15% of its normal volume, really.
What's the government going to do, rather, to get people back to work? Projections right now are indicating that this lack of activity, public activity, will lead to a contraction of at least 8% of the French economy. What's the government going to do to get the people back into their jobs?
Well, the government is spending 110 billion euros to get the economy back on track. It will provide subsidies for companies. It's financing unemployment benefits for up to 8 million additional people at the moment. It's trying to alleviate employers' charges so that companies can stay afloat. And it is saying, obviously, at the moment, you know, people should go back to work, but those who can work from home should stay at home so that the transport and other parts of the cities don't get overcrowded and the spread of the epidemic will not increase again.
Okay, what's the mood against this kind of background? A lot of uncertainty out there this morning as Paris, as the country reopens. How are people feeling about all of this?
Well, 2/3 of the French are worried about the lifting of restrictions, and you can see that actually some people were fearing that public transports and trains, etc., and the roads would be overcrowded, but that's not the case. Many people are saying, you know, we're going to stay at home, watch the situation. They're really wary of this virus and of the fact that it could spread even faster than beforehand. So many people fear a second wave of this and are staying at home. Also, schools are now bit by bit reopening again across the country. 2/3 of the parents are actually saying, no, we're going to keep our children at home. That's an option for at least a few weeks now.
Okay, Lisa, thanks so much for that from Paris this morning.